Amazing. We're watching Bitcoin make another all-time high. I'm going to show you exactly why we're making this all-time high. I'm also going to show you why I think we could even hit $100,000 on the Bitcoin price in the next 24 hours. But then as I watch this and I look at the altcoins, I can't help but think, when is this pump going to actually go to the altcoins? And when it eventually does, because it's inevitable that the pump will eventually go into altcoins, is my portfolio absolutely ready for the altcoin pump? Because I know that if I miss this altcoin pump, if I don't have my portfolio perfect for this altcoin pump, then I'm going to miss an opportunity of a lifetime to make life-changing or even wife-changing money, right? And so what I've got to do today is I'm going to build the perfect portfolio, and I'm actually going to show you exactly when I'm going to be buying the portfolio, because I'm not going to be buying the portfolio today because I think the prices are pretty elevated, but I am going to show you exactly what it is. So if you're sitting here and you're watching the show and you're thinking to yourself, my portfolio is not the perfect portfolio for the run, or I'm not sure, or I don't have a portfolio, then this is the show for you, because I'm going to show you A, why Bitcoin is breaking the all-time high, and B, what the perfect portfolio for when the altcoin run actually starts. So with that in mind, I think today, on a beautiful day like this, let's get the show on the road, guys. GM, especially to the 1.1 million, 1.107019 million subscribers that we have on our channel. And I'm so proud of you guys that of that, I've got 78.2% of you guys are actually surprised. If you're not already subscribed, then I need you guys to be subscribed to the channel, because we want to get this number up, and I need you guys to help me. And yeah, I mean, let's talk. We've got a big show today. I'm going to show you exactly why we're getting into this all-time high on Bitcoin, because we are at an all-time high once again, and I don't think it's going to stop. In fact, I think we're going to go to 100,000. If not today, it'll be tomorrow or the next day. But we are going to hit that 100,000. I do think when we get to the 100,000, we're going to get some kind of rejection, because it's a key psychological level, like 100,000. There must be a lot of people that are sitting, waiting at 100,000 going, you know, when Bitcoin gets to 100,000, I'm going to sell. And I think some of them are actually going to sell. So I think I'm going to show you why this is all happening. I'm going to show you also how to position yourself with a perfect altcoin portfolio, because I think it's important that a lot of you don't have portfolios yet. You're coming into crypto, or some of you are here, but just like me, you've been making portfolios, but your portfolios aren't perfect. So like if I look at some of my portfolios that I've shared with you guys, they're great, but they're not the perfect portfolio. And so today is all about making the perfect portfolio for this bull market. So if that sounds like your cup of tea, then pour yourself a drink, whatever you drink, and get comfortable, and then obliterate the like button. Like I want the likes to be trembling from obliteration, and then we shall get into the alpha of the day. And I promise you, I'm going to bring you a lot of alpha here today, including a portfolio which is full of DJ and meme coins, because I know that is what you guys like. By the way, if you like DJ and meme coins, I should probably mention that we, in our Frontrunners Discord, have a new section which we have called the Ape Asylum. And if you join the Ape Asylum, then you shall find what DJ and apes find. If you join the Ape Asylum, you'll find the dirty meme coins, where under $500,000 market cap, which are hidden far on the chain. Those you shall find in the Ape Asylum. So if that sounds like something that you want to join, we're not open yet because the guys aren't all there, but we have 3, 4, 5 contributors all talking about the lowest cap, dirtiest meme coins. If you want to join the Ape Asylum, just go to the bottom of the show and join the waiting list. By the way, if you are a member of Frontrunners, you're already part of it. You're already in, so you don't have to sign up again. But if you just want to join the Ape Asylum, then all you need to do is, Josh, can we put a link here at least for the Ape Asylum that's actually coming up? I think we have to have a list, waiting list for that. All right, let's get into the alpha of the show. So I told you yesterday that I thought Bitcoin was going to pump, and indeed it did pump. It's pumping for 2 reasons. You see, that's not only Bitcoin that's pumping. It's also MicroStrategy, which looks like it's going to open at $460. I mean, $460 looks like. I think that must be like a recent high for MicroStrategy. And the reason why MicroStrategy is pumping is because it was going to raise $1.75 billion, and then investors seemed to want to continue to throw more money at MicroStrategy. So it increased its initial $1.75 billion to raise funds for a new Bitcoin purchase, and now it's at $2.6 billion. Now, remember, these guys are giving money to MicroStrategy at 0 interest rate because they want exposure to the potential Bitcoin returns, believe it or not. So that's what's happening. But that's not the main reason why the market is running. The main reason why the market is running is because of what I spoke about yesterday, which is the options, what they call a gamma squeeze. So yesterday, options were launched on the IBIT ETF, the BlackRock IBIT ETF. And we wanted to see whether there'd be a big demand for the options. And the reason why we need to see if there's a big demand for the options is because if there is a big demand for the options, people buy a lot of options and the market makers have to hedge the position, right? And so every time you buy an option or someone buys an option, they have to buy the underlying Bitcoin to hedge themselves against the risk, right? And so, sorry, not the underlying Bitcoin, but the underlying IBIT ETF share, which then translates into IBIT having to buy an option. So it's an instrument which creates more demand on the foundational instrument, which is the IBIT ETF. And so day one was a huge success, okay? We had about $1.9 billion trading in these options on the first day. And the overwhelming majority of these options was actually long. So you can see the calls, which is the positive, it's the option to buy Bitcoin at a later point in time. So the calls were 82% versus the bears, which were 18%. And so because these were overwhelmingly positive, you had a lot of market makers actually going out to hedge their position by buying IBIT. And with them buying IBIT, we now have the price of Bitcoin going up. Now, this frenzy isn't yet over because today we're getting more of these options on some of the other ETFs launching. So it's a big day today, and we're having also options launched today on Grayscale, which is probably the second biggest ETF provider in the space. So watch this space, because if the demand, the rampant demand continues for for these options, then the price of Bitcoin will naturally go up. I do want to just give you a disclaimer that in bull markets, options are amazing for the underlying spot price. In bear markets, however, it's going to do the same. So you're going to get huge volatility, because remember that all of a sudden when people start selling puts on these options, when it gets very bearish, then all of a sudden you're going to have a lot of downward pressure because all these guys are going to be shorting Bitcoin for the actual exposure. So it's great in the bull market, it's great in the bear market, but expect a lot more volatility as a result of this option trade, which is right now, as I said, together with Michael Saylor, driving up the price of Bitcoin and taking us to what I think is an amazing all-time high. I do think that this is probably a good time to bring in the prayer to try and get us over 95,000. So if you'll all bow your heads for 2 seconds. You've got to do it with a bit of feeling, otherwise it's not going to pump the price. You've got to do it with a bit of feeling. Anyway, let's get into it. So what I do know is that this cycle is playing out absolutely beautifully. In fact, I do think that we're going to have a very exciting cycle, as you can see. You can see we're tracking beautifully relative to all the other cycles, and this pump may actually continue, and I think that Bitcoin goes way over 100 and maybe even way over $250,000. But the problem that I have is that when I look at this Bitcoin pump and I think about the altcoin pump that this is going to translate into, I can't help but think that my portfolio isn't perfectly positioned. I don't know about you guys. I've got a great portfolio. It looks something like this: Bitcoin, Ethereum, Arweave, Rune, SUI. But the problem is when I look at my portfolio, and even the more recent portfolio that I gave you guys, which is Bitcoin, Parcel, Injector, Phantom, Rune, I look at these portfolios and I just can't help but think to myself that they need a bit of tweaking if we want to make them the perfect portfolio for the bull market that's about to hit us. And the problem is that we're not going to have much time when the bull actually hits, because when the bull hits, it's fast, it's violent. Things happen really quickly. It hasn't started yet, but I can tell you when this altcoin season runs, it becomes really fast. And then what happens is you get attacked by these FOMO bullets. Every day you open your bubbles, you're like, oh man, I knew that Cardano would run 50%. No one knew that. I knew that Stellar would run 17%, right? So you need to make sure that your portfolio looks perfect. And if your portfolio isn't perfect, I do think that you have one last chance to get your portfolio right. Today is your last chance to get the portfolio right. Because as I said before, I do believe that at some point, we are going to have a pullback. And that is your last chance to actually buy. Now, why do I think that at some point we're going to have a pullback? You don't need to be a genius to work it out. This is the inverted chart of Bitcoin. That's the inverted chart. So what I've done is I've inverted the axis. You can see the higher the price gets, the lower the chart goes. Now, if this was an altcoin that was dipping, you would say at some point this altcoin would need to have a bounce, right? It's just pretty obvious that you would get something like that, okay, before it maybe goes down or continues to go up. So what I'm showing you is I'm showing you the inverted chart just so that you can see the extent of the run that we've had. And that you can also say, look, we know we're going to get pullbacks because every bull market we actually get pullbacks. In 2016, we got 5 pullbacks of 30% or more. In the next bull market, we got 5 pullbacks, 15% or more, because the pullbacks don't come as steep. And now we've got the options, which may actually make it a little bit more volatile. As 𝗥𝗢𝗥𝗧𝗏 says, he says, in 2017, it took 8 weeks of upside into price discovery before Bitcoin experienced some kind of pullback. In 2021, it took 4 weeks. We're on week 3 right now. So within the next 4 weeks, maybe 8 weeks, we're going to get a pullback. And when that pullback comes, it's going to feel like it's the end of the world and the end of crypto. And I don't know what's going to be the reason for the pullback. If I do, I would tell you. But I think that when that pullback comes, you got one last opportunity to position your portfolios. Because after that, I think what happens is you get the Bitcoin dominance actually dropping, and then you get the total 3 breakout. And when that total 3 breakout happens, then, my friends, the train has left the station. It goes to Valhalla. The train's left. You can't get back on the train. It's finished. The train is on the road to Valhalla. So the rule that I have when this happens is when there is extreme greed, we extremely accumulate cash. Extremely accumulate cash. And so right now, as you know, I'm accumulating cash. I'm on 8%. Yesterday I was on 7. I'm on 8% cash. I'm targeting to have 30% in cash in my portfolio so I can make the last changes to my portfolio and build the ultimate portfolio, which is going to take me and you to Valhalla, where we shall meet Odin, because Jimmy says we're going to meet Odin in Valhalla. And so what you need to do if you want to capitalize on this and you really want to get to Valhalla with your portfolio, then someone says, I told you the prayer was definitely going to work. 94,800 was apparently the new high. The prayer is definitely going to work. Let's not jinx the price here. Let's do that. So, as I was saying, if you want to really buy the ticket to Valhalla, you need to meet 2 criteria. The first criteria you need to meet is you have to have cash to buy the dip. Because you don't have cash to buy the dip, then the problem is you also don't have the perfect portfolio, because I know that, and you know that we didn't really believe that the meme coin super cycle was going to be as big as the meme coin super cycle was. And so the thing is that now you need to get more into memes and more into meme infrastructure, because if you look at our previous portfolios, they were geared up for memes. We had memes, but we didn't have enough memes. And now we know there's going to be a meme coin super cycle. So we need to make sure that we get this meme coin, we capitalize on this meme coin super cycle. And so we have this chance when we get this dip, and I think the dip will come within the next month or so. And so what do you need if you want to capitalize on the dip? You need 2 things. One, you need cash, because no cash, no buy the dip. I'll tell you one thing. When you watch that dip and you see how cheap things become relative to where they are today, and then you think to yourself, I can't believe I don't have money to buy this dip. That, my friends, is, I would say, the worst feeling in the entire universe. It's that feeling when you want to start selling kidneys, but no one wants to buy them, right? So you got to be very careful. You got to make sure that you have cash to buy the dip when the dip comes. And this time is not different. The dip will come. And that is your last chance to catch the train to Valhalla. Number 2, you need to have a plan. And by a plan, I mean you need to have a blueprint of what the perfect portfolio looks like. And that's what I'm going to give you today. I'm going to give you a perfect blueprint of what the perfect portfolio looks like. And you can see that the portfolio is meme heavy, because this is a meme coin super cycle. I don't want to fight the trend. This is let's just talk about what this cycle is. This is a Bitcoin, meme coin, an AI super cycle. That's it. Don't fight the tide. Don't get emotionally attached. And I'm also emotionally attached to a lot of coins in my portfolio. But ultimately, I got to call a fact a fact. The fact is that this is a Bitcoin, meme coin, and AI super cycle. And I don't think it's going to change just because we have a dip, right? I think that it's going to remain a Bitcoin, meme coin, and AI super cycle. And so that means that I should, no matter how much I love the other tokens, I should skew my portfolio towards Bitcoin, meme coins, and AI. And so the question then becomes, well, how do you do this? How do you do this and still get the best returns on your portfolio? Because Bitcoin's not going to give you an amazing return. You know that, I know that. Bitcoin's already at 94,000. I mean, for Bitcoin to go up 10%, which by the way is more than, even Cardano went up more than 10% today. So for Bitcoin to go up 10%, you talk about $105,000, okay? It's not going to happen. I mean, it is going to happen, but it's not exciting, right? So the first thing is I want to have exposure to Bitcoin, but I don't want to have, exposure to vanilla Bitcoin. And so the first token on my portfolio is actually a stock. And that is just buy MicroStrategy. If you think Bitcoin's going to go up, you buy MicroStrategy. Now the question is, when do we buy these things? I'm not buying, let me just make myself big on the screen. I'm not buying any of these tokens now. Now, I have one job. The job is get yourself into cash so that when the dip comes, you are ready. And the first token that I'm going to buy when the dip comes is I'm going to buy MicroStrategy instead of Bitcoin. Why am I going to buy MicroStrategy instead of Bitcoin? Because MicroStrategy is a leveraged bet on Bitcoin. By the way, it's at $476 now. That is absolutely insane. MicroStrategy is a leverage bet on Bitcoin. What do I mean by leverage bet on Bitcoin? You can see that if Bitcoin goes up 28%, MicroStrategy goes up 72%. When Bitcoin now went up 78%, MicroStrategy went up 280%, which means that when Bitcoin goes up, MicroStrategy goes up very quickly, much more than Bitcoin. Sometimes even 4 times the amount of Bitcoin. Here and here, 3 and 4 times the amount of Bitcoin. When Bitcoin goes down, MicroStrategy also goes down double the amount that Bitcoin goes down. And so in the bull market, in the ups, you want to be long on MicroStrategy. In the downs, you want to be long. In the downs, you want to be out of MicroStrategy and back into Bitcoin. When we think this market is overextended, I will sell all my MicroStrategy and I will go into Bitcoin. And when I think that we're at the bottom or near the bottom, then I'm going to take out money out of my Bitcoin and put it back into MicroStrategy. And that is how you're going to get leverage returns on your Bitcoin bet, right? And so that is the first token that I'd have in my portfolio. I'd have MicroStrategy. All right, then we go back to the thesis of the super cycle. And what is our thesis? Our thesis is that it's a meme coin, AI, and Bitcoin super cycle. And our thesis is also that this blockchain thing, all this blockchain thing actually is a way to create digital value and trade digital value. So if your thesis is the same as mine, where blockchain is just the creation of digital value and the trading of digital value, and we're in a meme coin AI super cycle, then the question is, what do you want to own? And the answer is that you want to have L1s, you want to have DEXs, because that's where the trading happens. You want to have derivatives exchanges, because that's where the leveraged trading happens, which is much more profitable than the normal trading. And then you want to have a few of the meme coins, but you want to have much more of the infrastructure. And so I would put 80% of my portfolio into the L1s and the trading platforms that I think are going to win, and 20% into the actual tokens, because the tokens have a higher chance of failure. Like, I don't mind which token succeeds or fails on Solana. I know Solana will do well. And so that is why the next one that I'm putting into my portfolio, or the next few that I'm putting in my portfolio, are all about Solana. And so what are my Solana bets here? I'm going to put in Solana itself, because own the L1, of course, that's a good bet. Then you want to own Radium. And the reason why you want to own Radium is because all the trading is happening on Radium. I want to just show you some of the stats. Radium is the number one DEX in terms of volume. It is, if you look at the valuation, the FDV versus the annualized revenue, it is probably the most valuable exchange. It flips Tether, even Tether, in terms of fees generated. So in terms of which exchange is capturing all this meme coin attention, it is Radium. And so you've got to have a massive Radium position when this happens. There's another, and then you have to have a drift position, because drift, as you can see over here, is the perpetuals on all these meme coins, right? So if you want to trade perps on all the meme coins like FOAG or whatever, then you want to, the only place that you can actually do it, or the best place to actually do it in a decentralized way, is to do it on drift. And so for me, the play here is to say, I'm going to buy Solana, I'm going to buy Radium, and I'm going to buy drift. That is the base layer, the derivatives, and the DEX on the chain that is housing the biggest casino in the world, which is called the meme coin casino. But then there's another play on Solana, and that is 𝗤𝗘. 𝗤𝗘, what most people don't understand is that 𝗤𝗘 is the protocol that is capturing all the MEV. MEV stands for minor extractable value, or maximum extractable value on the chain. And that is effectively how the transaction values are captured. And 𝗤𝗘 is the one that is capturing all the transaction value on the chain. And that is why, for me, the perfect Solana portfolio says, have the DEXs, but also have the protocol that's capturing all the value. That is my bet on Solana. All right, my next bet is that the trading is going to happen on base, right? So to me, it's quite simple. The way I look at it is, don't overcomplicate things. Let me show you, I think there's a graphic somewhere. Let me see if I can find this graphic that just shows where all the money is actually flowing to. Hold on, there must be a graphic somewhere that shows this. Here it is. So if you look at this thing, it says, look, where is the top 10 funds by chain flows? It's base, Solana, and SUI. So don't overcomplicate it. Just be in base, Solana, and SUI. We don't need to look any deeper, because then we're taking a lot of unnecessary risk, right? So what you want to do is you want to position your bets on base, Solana, SUI. You've seen my Solana bets. Now I want to show you my base bets, right? And I think the first base bet that I'm going to take is Coinbase itself. Why? Because not only do I get exposure to base, but I get exposure to the whole, leveraged exposure to the whole crypto ecosystem. Again, look at how much exposure. When Bitcoin goes up 28%, Coinbase goes up 117%. When Bitcoin goes up 71%, Coinbase goes up 165%. Coinbase is a leverage bet on the entire industry and on the chain that pretty much makes up Ethereum, which is Base. Because Base is a layer 2, and the sequencing in that chain is done specifically by Coinbase. And so for me, I have to put Coinbase in my portfolio, especially because their performance as a company is so good. And because they have this thing called Coinbase BTC, which is wrapped Coinbase BTC, which is all the BTC that they're custodying, they can now wrap them and send them to other chains. And so for me, Coinbase is a must-have in every single portfolio if you're in crypto. And you don't have to be embarrassed to have stocks in your crypto portfolio, because as I've showed you, the stocks actually perform better than the crypto. So it's like, it's as cool, guys, to have a Robinhood account or a, I don't know, whatever account, and buy yourself actual stocks. I've made more money on MicroStrategy than any other trade this cycle. I've got to be honest. Like literally, I've made 3x that I've made like 8x in the last like month on MicroStrategy. So MicroStrategy is just as good as a crypto thing. It's not uncool to be buying stocks. The next one that I'm buying to capitalize on the base narrative is I'm buying the DEX, because again, remember, it's all about trading. So I'm buying Aerodrome. Why am I buying Aerodrome? Well, number one, it is the biggest DEX on base. Number two, it's getting amazing volume. But number three, I'm also reading between the lines. And when I read between the lines, I see that Coinbase Ventures, which are the people that are owned by Coinbase and are actually like run by Coinbase, are adding an additional $2 million worth of Aerodrome. And they're not the only ones. Synthetics, the protocol Synthetics, which has a massive treasury, is adding the Velodrome and Aerodrome because we think they're great projects, and because holding them helps us point incentives towards synthetics related protocols. So there's a lot of buying pressure on 𝗓𝗓𝗓. I do think that 𝗓𝗓𝗓 is the future, that Base is the future of Ethereum, and that 𝗓𝗓𝗓 is the biggest DEX on Base. And so therefore, I'm buying 𝗓𝗓𝗓. And that gives me exposure to the Solana narrative and the Base narrative. So I've ticked those boxes. Okay, now, as I said to you before, I want to have my money on some shiny layer ones. And what are the shiny layer ones that I want? These are the newer layer ones. So in terms of newer layer ones, I've kind of broken it down into two. One is new, one is not so new. The new one is SUI. So, and the reason why I'm going with SUI, you can go with SUI or Aptos. So, I mean, Aptos also announced today that they've got I wasn't supposed to say that. Okay, but they're going to announce it tomorrow that they've got USDC on the chain. But you didn't hear it from me because I wasn't supposed to tell you because the announcement's only coming out tomorrow. So you didn't hear it here. Damn. Okay, I wasn't supposed to, but I did. Okay. And let's just see, what is the price of Aptos doing? It should be going up if I understand how markets move correctly. Aptos. Let's see if this Aptos thing works. It's up a little bit. Okay, good. So it will be up a lot more, I think, when that happens. So you've got SUI, and then you've got the biggest DEX on SUI, which is called Cetus. And then you're going to add some Phantom. And the reason why you're going to add Phantom is because you love 𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓, and because you know, again, because I told you, that on the 27th of the 12th, which is not so long from now, it's like a month and 2 weeks from now, we'll all be on vacation then, we're going to launch the new Sonic chain. And then the price of Phantom is going to go up. Now, don't say I didn't tell you, because I did tell you. Okay, so don't say I didn't tell you, I did tell you. So that is what the portfolio looks like. You see, I've got amazing exposure to Bitcoin, leverage exposure, to the meme coin infrastructure and the best L1, to the best L2, and then to like 2 shiny new objects. But then I also told you that it's going to be an AI super cycle, right? And so you have to have exposure to AI. So how do you get your exposure to AI? Well, the first thing is you buy GPU power, and that is Akash. So I buy Akash because Akash is, for me, the leading GPU provider, distributed GPU provider. And remember, there is going to be a shortage of these, with all these amazing things that are happening in AI. Everybody is launching a new AI agent, okay? Somebody needs to train these agents. To train these agents, you need data and you need computing power. There isn't enough computing power. You'll see today, because today we have the NVIDIA results, right? And there's a risk today that if NVIDIA doesn't deliver, the whole party ends. The music ends, basically. Because NVIDIA always overshoot on their results. And so if they don't overshoot on these results, or if they miss the analysts' expectations, because look here, ever since we've been monitoring NVIDIA, the analysts' expectations are that they're going to over-deliver. If they don't over-deliver, then we have a problem. Houston, we have a problem. And then the whole market actually starts coming down. So watch out for that if you're in leverage positions. Today, when the market closes, you could be caught with your pants down if NVIDIA underperform. But that'll be the least of your worries because all the markets will start coming down. So in the results of NVIDIA, you'll also realize that they'll talk about the fact that there's not enough GPUs, there's not enough computing power. Because remember, NVIDIA have a monopoly on these GPUs, right? And so you can see that if you look at the GPUs that they have on, the main GPUs is H100, right? And so those are the ones that Akash has a lot, right? So that's what you have. Here. Then the next one where you're going to get exposure to AI is over here. So you're going to get Grass. And I explained to you the other day what Grass is. Grass is a way to give your redundant internet bandwidth so that they can scrape the internet so that they can train AI models. So it's a very simple application that you put onto your browser. And when you put the application onto your browser, it uses your redundant internet power, or bandwidth, which you don't need. It uses that to scrape the internet so that they can train AI models. And so this is a proper company with proper revenue, big revenue, big users. I don't know if I've got a dashboard here. Okay, I don't think I have a dashboard here, but we did show it the other day. Open dashboard. Let's see, maybe it'll give us a dashboard. You can see how big. Let's just quickly accept that. Okay, I'm not registered on this computer, but this is a very good protocol with super performance. Then we're going to get Spectral.ai. And the reason why we're going to get Spectral.ai is because this is an infrastructure for chatbots, for AI bots, for AI agents. And so it was also founded by a bunch of Coinbase, I think it's a Coinbase exec. So yeah, product and coin are on base, developed by an ex-Coinbase team, backed by Samsung Galaxy. No token unlocks until May 2025. Hold account continues to grow. So to me, this is one that you have to own. But again, none of these, I'm not buying a single one of them now. And I'm asking you not to buy any of these right now. People say, what about Render? I say Render is great, but Render is not exactly an AI token. It's more of a Render kind of token. Cool. Now listen, a little bit of gaming exposure. You can take your pick. I've added Beam and Super. Beam I've added because I just think that it's a layer, it's a chain which specializes in gaming. And I think it'll do very well. Super is probably going to be the hype token. And I think that all the hype will start when the off-the-grid token launches. So when does the off-the-grid token launch? Q4 this year, maybe Q1 next year. They are waiting for, what they're waiting for is they're waiting for the game to be perfect. And then they'll launch. And it's happening like really soon. So that will start a gaming run, which is why I've added gaming into my portfolio. I don't want to be caught with my pants down when the gaming run actually starts. Okay, so that is my picks, my serious picks. And as you can see, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's start again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 tokens in total. And then I get dirty because I can't deny that there's going to be a meme coin super cycle. So what am I looking for? I'm looking to buy meme coins. Which meme coins am I looking to buy? I'm looking to buy a mix between the big ones and the small ones. Why? Because I know when the dip comes and Bitcoin goes down 20%, meme coins are going down 60%. And that is when I'm going to stand there with my bucket of cash that I have. And by that time, it'll be 30%, just by the way. And I will be, and when everybody else is panicking, I will also be panicking. But I will have had a plan. And my plan would say that when the market gets into extreme fear, I'm going to start buying all the meme coins. And I'm going to buy myself a mix between the blue chip meme coins and the non-blue chip meme coins. Because I want to take some stinky bets, but I also want to stick to the big ones where I know my money is relatively safe. Because the term relatively safe in meme coins is like a bit of an oxymoron. Like you can't have relatively safe in meme coins. By being in meme coins, you are already dirty. You are already high risk. And so like when you go in the safe meme coins, it's like high risk safe, if that makes any sense to you. If you do, then you should be part of the Ape Asylum. And if you want to join the Ape Asylum, either you can join Frontrunners. Did we put the link, sir? Okay, so either you can join the Ape Asylum. Frontrunners. Did we put the link, sir? Okay, so either you can join Frontrunners, or you can join the waiting list just for the Ape Asylum. But remember, this is only for apes. Where is this thing? On top. Okay, amazing. On top. Join the Ape Asylum. But you got to tell them what the Ape Asylum is, sir. Otherwise, they don't know. Okay. So that is it. Now, which coins am I going to be buying when it comes to memes? But remember, I'm not buying any of these now because now they're all very overpriced. I'm going to wait for the dip. When that dip comes, I'm going to be there, stinky, and I'm going to be buying and buying and buying and buying and buying. You know why? Because I'm going to have 30% cash to spend on meme coins. So what am I buying? Well, the first two are like pretty obvious. I'm buying Doge and Doge. Why? Because I think Doge is going to take a dump. And I also think that Doge, the Department of Government Efficiency, for the next 4 years is going to be the most talked about department in the entire press of the entire United States. Because when the richest man in the world and 𝗣𝗢𝗥𝗧𝗜 get together, and their job is to slash government departments spending, which is something that everybody can get behind. Like, I don't know about you, but I feel nothing when a government employee loses their job. Like, nothing. Right? And I know you feel the same. I mean, I feel sorry. I don't feel anything for them. So when the governments employees lose. No, actually, I do feel for the people. I feel for the people. I don't feel for the government. So when these people get slashed, like the FDA, right? Like when Anthony Fauci gets slashed and when the FDA gets slashed, everybody's going to celebrate. And the token that's going to celebrate the most is going to be Doge, the on-chain Department of Government Efficiency. Now, you'll see that I've done a little bit of a thing here where I've said, is it listed on Binance? Because all these meme coins have a huge chance of being listed on Binance, right? So I buy Doge and Doge. Then, of course, I buy 𝗕𝗬𝗕 because 𝗕𝗬𝗕, you can say, is like the master of all frogs and all meme coins. But I don't buy it now at 8 billion fully diluted valuation because I'm not an idiot. Okay. Then, after that, I go a little bit more stinky and I go to PopCat. So PopCat is the leader in the cat coins, and the cats have got to play catch up to the dogs. And so PopCat, which is, by the way, not listed on Binance, is another one that I'm going to get ready to buy. After that, I buy Frog, because Frog's getting amazing momentum, and also, by the way, not listed on Binance. Then I get a little bit more stinky, and I go for Sundog because it's not listed on. Because I know Justin Sun is going to get Sundog listed on Binance. I'm not an idiot. I know it's going to happen. When it does, it's going to pump. It just happens every single time. Then I go for another one, which is Mr. Miggles. And the reason why I go for Mr. Miggles is because I kind of know that I know what's going on in the background. I mean, it's quite obvious that Mr. Miggles is the Coinbase, the real Coinbase cat.
Or the Mr. Miggles campaign, actually. I don't know if any of you saw that, but that was a really great example of, it wasn't just like a marketing video we blasted out on TV.
So like Mr. Miggles is the IP of Coinbase, and they haven't listed Brett, and then that means there must be a reason. And I think that they will actually list Miggles. So I'm quite long Miggles already. But if it's not listed on Coinbase by the time the dip comes, then we do it. And then what I do is I look for smaller meme coins. So one of them is Foxy because of the play on the linear ecosystem. And the last one that I'm going to buy is a very, very, very small meme coin. It's called 𝗬𝗓𝗓, okay, which is, it's a little cat, but it also, 𝗬𝗓𝗓 also stands for I love you. Let's see if we can actually find 𝗬𝗓𝗓. Hold on, is there a deck screener window here? Let's quickly just show you guys so you don't get caught with the wrong code and that you can see exactly what I'm talking about. Okay, let's just see if we can get 𝗬𝗓𝗓. So, sure, it's very slow, but we'll get onto it. So 𝗬𝗓𝗓 is the next one. It's a tiny market cap coin. It's probably a $10 million market cap coin. But I think that this one actually has a lot of legs. I think that, it's got 4 legs, it's a cat, but it's got legs because it can run. And you can see I've been messing around with it. I actually bought some earlier today. It's a small little cat. Okay, I understand. It's a small little cat. It's the cutest cat kitty on Solana. But the thing is, 𝗬𝗓𝗓 is like I love you. And so everyone's been using this ticker, this 𝗬𝗓𝗓 ticker around I love you. So that is the portfolio. You can see it's very meme heavy, and it's a no bullshit portfolio. It's got no rats and mice. I mean, if you want to have some more fun, add yourself a real world asset play. Add yourself a Pith or a C-Pool or one of those. If you want to add yourself a crazy low cap AI token, one of the tokens that I have added, also one of our sponsors, is a thing called AI Agents. It's like trading at like $1 million, $2 million. In about a week, they're going to launch an AI agent launchpad. Probably worth looking at. It was launched by 𝗕𝗬𝗕 yesterday. You can do that. But otherwise, I've kind of cleaned up the portfolio to say, look, don't look for too much. The market's telling you what's going on. And why must you try and like fight the market? Don't try and fight the market. Just listen to what the market's telling you. And just play the market narratives, and don't try and be too clever, because you don't need to be, because you're gonna get returns regardless. So before we go, I want to just quickly, last time, just look at the markets. 94,650. So our prayer did actually work. I said to you, I think it's going to go much higher because of this little gamma squeeze that we're currently getting. Yeah, I think that is it for today, my friends, which means that I will see you guys again tomorrow. Until then, let's pray for... No, Josh, we still have to pray, bro. Can we pray now? Let's pray for the all-time highs. See, a lot of people are saying, no, Maneki, and why aren't you adding in this token and that token? Listen, 25,000 meme coins launch every single day. I can't keep a track on all of them. I've just got to pick a handful, invest the money, and then forget about it. So on that note, I shall see you guys again tomorrow. Until then, trade well, my friends.